All right, I had a couple of requests for this, so while I am preparing my freaking aquarium to be clean, let's do a quick takedown of the Panzer 9. All right, folks, like I said, by request, I'm going to do a quick high-level takedown of the Panzer 9. If you're wondering why my hands always look ashy in my videos, it's because two things, actually. One, I have a saltwater aquarium that I'm constantly sticking my hands in. It dries my skin out, that salt water. And then two, I got a job that you got to constantly sanitize your hands, and it just keeps my hands really dry. So for the purpose of this video, I will be wearing gloves, you know, because I got to work on the aquarium and I don't want to transfer anything that's on this gun into the aquarium. So just a little disclaimer there, but this probably will not be a long video because I'm not going to do a super duper long video on taking this thing all the way down to the bare bones. But what I will tell you is if you do get one of these, they have pretty much a breakdown of how this pistol can come all the way down to the last nut or bolt. And interesting enough, in the manual it has the foregrip, but you know, when they import these things, they got to do a certain amount of things to get them into the country. And that's probably why, if you saw my video that said that I got a call from not a call, I got a message from Excelicon saying that this was a roller delayed. That's probably why this is not roller delayed, because in order for the importers to get these guns to the country, because the United States has bans on, you know, importing like assault weapons and stuff like that, they have to either modify or build the gun in the United States from a certain point, right? If you are not familiar with the Benelli M4 ban, like Benelli, if you get a Benelli, you got to make it U.S. compliant, and that's probably what they did. They probably went the cheaper route and made this a direct blowback, right? So there's the bolt. But the Silicon people, when they made it, they probably made it roller delay, which would have been awesome if we got it for that price and with a roller delay. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a roller delay guy because I'm not an HK guy. I don't think, you know, I got plenty of blowback stuff and it never had a problem. You know, I got an inertia gun, which is like, you know, the standard when it comes to sometimes shotguns. But I'm like, that inertia gun is a pain in the ass. But anyway, I don't have a problem with blowback and I don't have a problem with the price, right? So that's why we got this gun. And we're going to show you real quick how to get into it if you want to do some cleaning and maintenance. Like I said, not taking it all the way down to the bare bones, but we're going to do it from frame, upper, lower, you know, pull the bolt out and show you. All right, so first off, you're going to start with the pistol. You have your takedown pins, just like your AR. You got a pin here, you got a pin here, you got a pin here. Well, actually not on an AR, you don't have this, but you got a pin here and a pin here. And you're going to get a punch and a hammer, which I just had a hammer. And you might not need a hammer. But it helps sometimes. Just give it a little tap that out, tap that out. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pull those all the way out from the other side until they stop. Okay, get that punch out of the way now. And now what you can do is remove the lower. Now, we took a look at the lower in the unboxing video. The lower appears to have a standard AR-15. I wish I had better light here. Standard AR-15 fire control group in it. Hammer looks like the hammer from an AR-15. Can't see all the components, but yep, looks like AR components. So it looks like all you got to do, same with an AR, is push out these pins, and then you can put your drop-in triggers and stuff like that in there. Now, I have seen some videos on some manufacturers for other PCCs that says you need a thinner hammer profile because the internals on their bolt probably, you know, don't allow a bigger hammer to fly in there. But it looks like this is cut out for a standard AR-15 hammer, so you should be good with any drop-in style or, you know, match grade AR-15 fire control group. And that is one of the upgrades that I'm going to do on this, because this has a standard like 7.5 pound. This is heavy, but you know, sometimes you need it for those 9mm and the harsh primers. You don't want to lighten it up too much because that gun will not go off. But this is heavy, 7 or 8 pounds. Definitely, you know, not a trigger snob, but I am used to shooting lighter triggers. Like I said, standard, safety, stuff like that, all works the same. So we're going to put that out of the way, because that is about the extent of the takedown I'm going to do for the lower. Like I said, that's it. Get that off of there. And now you are in to the upper. And in the upper, like I said, this is a heavy, heavy upper. And the reason for that is probably because it has a massive bolt in there for that blowback, for that, you know, non-buffered blowback system. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing like we did with the lower, we're going to take our punch. I'm going to tap out these 2 pins real quick. If I get the other one out, I did. It's probably out far enough for me to grab it, but we're going to tap it again just to make sure it's all the way through. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to pull these all the way out. They are going to lock out once you get them all the way out. Now, in this back end, it will not go flying off like I thought in the first video when I tried to take it apart. It's actually keyed in. There's a key in the top to keep it from flying out or breaking loose because of those 2 bolts. They don't want those to shear off, so you got to pull it down and then roll it out like that. And there's your key on the top. And those are your pins, and this is also your bottom key for when it goes all back together. It keeps that from, having a fly out situation. Inside, you're going to find your bolt. That's the back of the back plate for the recoil spring. And what I did was just push on your charging handle. Let me get that out and get that in the frame. Push on your charging handle. And you push on your charging handle, the whole bolt comes out. And like I said, this is not a roller delay system. Don't know what they mean by roller delay. All right, don't know what that means. I mean, I know what it means, but I didn't know why they said it was a roller delay because there are definitely no rollers on here. And I looked it up because I don't have a roller delay system, and I was looking into what that meant. And what it usually means is that there are a set of rollers built into the bolt somewhere that when this inertia kicks in, it slows down the bolt so that it doesn't go flying back, and it allows the back pressure in the chamber to decrease to a safe level before it goes back in the battery and fires another round. It's a little bit slower cyclic, I'm assuming, than a straight blowback. And like I said, many guns have been made off of a blowback system or like open bolt system. So your preference is your preference. But for this, we are not going to go any further than this. We're going to take a look at it. That is what it is. It's got a nice spring in here. Don't know what this is for. This little guide rod here. I got to get into there and see what that's about. I'll get into the manual, but there's a little guide rod that goes through here, and I don't think would that be something? No, it comes all the way through. Not sure how that works. I was like, would that be something that would have a roller on it that would allow this to be roller delayed? There's a pin right here. Don't know, but manual says blowback, so that's what I'm gonna go with. I'll put that to the side. And lastly, somebody asked me about the charging handle and whether or not it reciprocates. It does not reciprocate. It moves independently of the bolt. It's used to push the bolt back, but as you can see, it locks into place when it's in its full forward position. So when you cock that charging handle and then let the bolt come forward, it pushes it all the way back into the lock position, and then when you charge it, it just pushes it back. But if you want to change that handle from right now it's on the left side, you want to change it to the right side, what you do is you take that, pull it all the way back to the back like that, and then it comes out simply like that. You can rotate it to the other side, and now your charging handle's on the other side. Put it back in, push it back in place, and it is what it is. Now, you could take this down further. You could if you wanted to. Like I said, I wish I had the light behind me, but again, no rollers on the inside of the frame or like that. You could take this down further. You have some pins that hold on the top rail right here. They lock down the top rail. I put these on after. They come in the box separate. You take the M locks out of that. The frame has a built-on Picatinny rail on the bottom for the the foregrip that they saw in the box, but they didn't use it. And then inside there are some bolts that hold in the barrel securing assembly. So there's some other stuff in here that you could take apart if you needed to. Do I suggest doing that? Not unless you really have to, because at the end of the day, you don't need to. There's nothing there to clean. Maybe take this down and pull this all out and oil up those rails inside there. But what I would probably do, and actually not even probably do, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do it while I got the gun apart. We're going to do a quick little hot shot of some cleaner, some CLR in there. Is that CLR? CLP? Sorry, CLR for tubs. Get that in there, and then I'm just going to run that a little bit. Yeah, get it all cleaned up. Not cleaned up, but get it all lubed up. And then we're going to put it back together real simple. Actually, you know what? Before I even do that, because I did run about 100, 150 rounds. Just can't remember, like 100 rounds maybe. We can get a quick wipe down. Put some oil on it. Got to do that on camera. Put some oil on it. Get any carbon buildup off of there. Oop, about to drop everything. Put it back together, and yep, we're going to hit them rails and the sides with a little bit of oil. Just a little tap. I don't need a lot on there. I can't see through the camera, so I'm going to look up the side of the camera and do this. If I spray, it's going to do that. I ain't want to do that, but hey, whatever. Get some oil on the rails. Oil it all up. Let's give it a spray. At this point, just get it done. Lightly wipe that off so they don't soak up all that oil. Get a nice little coating on it. Make it nice and shiny. And then I'm also going to go on the inside. I say some King well oil. So I'm going to just put some more oil in there like that. Get it all in there. Keep it nice and lubed up. Because I don't really clean my gun. So I don't want them things fouling up because they're running dry. It did come with an oil bottle too. So I could probably keep some oil on deck. But we're done. We're going to put the bolt back in. Slide it in. Slides right in. We're going to key this back up. Like I said, there's a lock on the bottom. There's a key on the top, so we're going to push it in. Get it up in the frame. Then I'm going to push one in. And we're going to turn this around and get my little hammer because it is a little bit stiffer on the top one. Got to tap, tap. Tap those in, tap those in. Okay, go back to the other side. Everything's good here. In fact, we're going to pick this and make sure everything's lined up. Pop, pop. And then tap, 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 tap. Okay. Check for function. Yep. And there you go. That is your takedown and reassembly of your Panzer Arms Han-9. Got any questions, hit me up in the messages or hit me up on social media. I'll talk to you later. Peace.
Gunman, baby.